Hi, I'm Clint of Clint Weaver Horsemanship, and this is part 2 of a question I was asked about how to get a horse to lope a circle and stay in the lope. The horse wants to dive in and make the circle smaller and smaller, and then ultimately just drop to the trot. So on the first video, we talked about side passing and really getting a horse to yield off the legs. You know, I heard a lady say one time that that she likes to teach the correction before she teaches the maneuver. And that's a very, very good thing to do, because that way when you're in the maneuver and you need to help them or correct them, they understand what you're asking them to do. So that's why we did that first video on side passing. Now this second video, I want to talk more about, let's say that you're loping around in a circle and you pushed your horse out, and you push your horse out, and you push your horse out, and they just continue to fall in. So there's a pretty good pattern there. So now I want to visit about how maybe some things that I would do to change that pattern. But I want to visit real fast about a story that I remembered this morning, riding this morning. I was thinking about a time when I was in Texas working for the Bartlett Ranch, and I met a really good horseman in Aspermont, Texas, and he helped me with a horse that was hollowing his back out. And when you would back up, he would hollow his back out and just drag his feet. Well, this fella, he had me just come in and drive with my legs and get the horse to kind of jump out and lope out. Not necessarily jump out, but get him to lope out. And what he said is he said, if we don't get life going this way, we're going to drive and get life going this way. We're going to get it one way or the other, but we're going to get it a way that we know we can. Okay? And what happened was, after about the 4th or 5th time doing that, I reached up and started to back my horse, and my horse, it was right down to his feet, and he was real soft. And this fella really stressed to me. He said, "Oh, that's it right there. Quit right there." And I thought about that years later, and I thought, you know, if I'd have done that by myself at my place, I probably would have picked him up and said, "Ooh, this feels really good," and I would have stayed there probably too long, and eventually he'd have hollowed out again. So I'd have been right back where I started from. And sure enough, I think about a week later, I had that horse back to where he was kind of hollowing out. My point being is that sometimes we need to get off of what we were doing and go do something else and come back. But not only that, we need to recognize the slightest try. We need to see those little tries in them, and we need to recognize it, and we need to build from there. And we need to understand that they don't just flip overnight. They don't just make that change. It's a process, okay? We got to build it. So, all right, we're going to get started. I'm going to ask this horse here to trot around the rail, okay? And if he comes off just the slightest bit, I'm going to show you how I'm going to take advantage of that, and I'm going to get him to where he'll side pass maybe just a little better, okay? So we're going to go along here. And now, if he were to come off like that right there, I'm going to turn him back into the fence, put my right leg on, and ask him to side pass. But not only am I going to just side pass, I'm going to take him on a little trip here, okay? Now, if he were to start to die out, I would move his hindquarters to the left, and then his front end to the left. Then his hindquarters to the left, then his front end to the left. And then I would offer this side pass again. And I'd ask him to move over, and now I'd line him back up and ask him to go again, okay? But I'm going to really take him somewhere now, because I've already done my homework on my side pass. Right there he come off. So I might ask him back over, but then I'm going to turn him into the fence. I'm going to say, that's not good enough now. We've done that enough. Okay, so now I'm going to take you on a little trip here, okay? And when I'm doing this, I'm going to turn around so you can see. In the beginning, I really have my horse bent, okay, where his nose is about over the point of his shoulder. Okay, now I might say, well, let's take it up a notch and let's see if you can't be straight with your head and neck, and see if you can't side pass more this way. You see how straighter he is there? Okay, so I'm going to use this opportunity to fine tune my side pass. okay? Here in a minute, if he keeps coming off, then I might even start clucking and see if I can get him to speed up just a little bit. I don't expect him to trot, but I'd like to see him reach and try a little deeper, okay? So we'll come around here. We got a little muddy spot over here, and we'll see if he wants to come off. There, he's pretty straight. And I might really check him out here from a trot and just say, hey, are you gonna stay straight on this line here? Because that's the other thing, I wanna make sure that I'm not babysitting these horses. All right, I'm gonna turn around and go the other way. I might challenge myself, challenge my horse, and just really make sure my hand's right in the center and make sure that he's holding this line real straight here, okay? Now he feels pretty good here, but let's say that he kind of did that right there, then I would either side pass him or just turn him into the fence. Either way, then put my leg on. Now I've got his nose bent right now. Now I'm going to straighten his nose just a little bit and see if he can still hold that and really get over there, push his hindquarters over, and trot out. You see? So I'm going to get him so much better about leg yielding, okay? And that's something I need later on for my leads, okay? So I'm going to really work on that while he's finding straightness, okay? Now if you, oh, right there he's off. I'll side pass over, turn to the fence, and ask him to side pass. Okay, now right here, I'm going to cluck, and let's see if we see just a little bit of a try. Ah, boy, that was a big try. Okay, well, that was pretty obvious. But a lot of times they don't try that hard. A lot of times it's just that you'll feel them reach just a little bit deeper, you see? And that's just enough. This guy here, he really gave me a good try there. So, okay, now, so that's where I'm going to be out here, okay? If I'm loping along, same thing. If they come off, then I'm just going to slow it down, side pass, so take them on a trip, and then go back up to my lope, okay? Now, I'm going to come in here to the center. So now let's say I'm off of the rail. Now I want to lope some nice circles right here in the center, okay? In the beginning on young horses, I separate my hands, and I want my horse to be right in between my hands, okay? Now let's say that he keeps falling in, okay? Now instead of taking him on a side passing trip, I'm going to take him on a counter bend trip, okay? I'm going to take his front end and take it around, and I'm going to go all the way around till I'm back on my imaginary circle, and then drive out and go again. So I'm trotting along, or I'm loping along. He falls in. I'll allow him to fall in, pick him up, and I don't put him right back on the line because I've already done that, okay? Now, I'm going to take him all the way around right here, and then drive. You see, there's a rhythm, okay? And then as soon as I feel my horse stay on this line, usually it's one or two spots in the circle, and as soon as they get past it, maybe one time, then I'm going to release them for that day. The next day, I might try to get 2 circles, and the next day 3, and so on and so forth, okay? Once they start to operate with my hands, I'll get them a little closer, and then eventually just go to one hand, all right? But same thing. If they fall in with one hand, I just reach here, push them over, okay? Now, I will say that when I'm loping and this happens, okay, and they fall in, all right, I can also turn that up a notch, okay? So instead of just putting them back, I'm taking them on a 360, all right? Now, if they still kept doing it, well now I'd like to see him stay in this trot and do a counter bend while staying in the trot. Come on around, there, now back to your circle. You see? See, now I'm going to keep the life up in him a little bit and push him out. So let's pretend right here, he fell in right there. Now I'm going to take you on a trip. But I'm going to try and see if I can't keep the life up in you. You see? All right, and this might be something you practice again on the side. Okay? Do the correction by itself, then when you're in the maneuver and you need to use it, they already understand how to do it, okay? So I really hope this helped, and I sure appreciate your questions. And my wife wanted to remind me to ask you to share it if you like it. I guess I'm getting this right. And to subscribe. There, I think I got that right. So thanks again for watching.